Okay, today we're just basically going to work in Word, mostly talk a little bit about text and text spacing. We're going to talk about line spacing. What is line spacing, or leading is sometimes referred to it, and so on. And then the last thing we'll talk about is how to make a draft. Where you might have seen in Microsoft Word before, where if you're working on a document and it's not ready for distribution, and you might see a little kind of grayed out version said draft across the bottom. You ever see that before? Whatever. We do that a lot in business. So in business, when you're working and you're typing up a draft is not the final version. You let people know it is a draft by putting a, what we call a watermark, or a grayed out version that says draft across the whole thing. Okay, and that lets people know that this is not the final version. We'll learn how to strike out code, right? We'll learn how to, you can make notes along the side for other people. You ever work with other people on a document and they might write little notes to you, right? And say, hey, I changed this, I changed that, or something like that. We'll talk about those things today. We'll also talk a little bit about spell checking. You guys need to make sure you spell things correctly, right? Okay, we'll talk about the Thesaurus. You guys use a Thesaurus? Back in my days, we used to have a book. It was called a Thesaurus. And you wanted to do a word that is similar to the word that you're using, you would go to the book and it would give you a list of stuff. Now there's, of course, a computerized version of the Thesaurus, right? Okay, so give me a topic. What do you want to write a paper on today? Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know. That's complicated. No. I'm thinking, didn't we do flowers the first week, right? I'm thinking flowers, or maybe a biology on how to dissect an insect or something. I don't know. Give me a biology thing or something. Drug war is too complicated and controversial. Cell division. What's that? Cell division. Sharks? Sharks. Okay, let's do the sharks. There's a Sharks game today. Okay, we're going to write a paper on the San Jose Sharks, the history of the Sharks, and so on. Where can we find most of that data? Wikipedia. Let's go steal from Wikipedia. Okay, so here we go. We're going to write our paper on Wikipedia. Here we go. Where's the internet? Oh, here we go. Let's go to Wikipedia. Oops. And let's type in San Jose. There it is. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have a header at the top of my document. So maybe I'm working for the Sharks. Maybe we're working for the San Jose Sharks and we want to have their logo in our header that's on every one of my pages for my company, right? So we're going to make a little header at the top and we'll make it, and we'll have to have the word San Jose Sharks in there. So let's steal the logo that we see right here. To steal the logo that you see right here, we're going to right click on it and we're going to say copy image. Copy image. Again, right click here, copy image. Let's go back to our paper. Again, the first thing we're going to do is set a header at the top of our document. We'll put the logo on the right side and we'll put the name of the Sharks on the left side. How we put a header in our document is to go to the insert. You'll notice it says header right there. Do you see the box that says header under insert? If you click on that, it's going to come up with different options. You'll notice you have the one on the right side in there, and then we have this one that says blank 3 columns, and then we have this one, and this one, and then you can make your own. I'm going to start with the 3-column one, and I'm going to get rid of the middle one, and I'm just going to use the one on the left and the right. So sometimes it's easier to start with something and adjust that than it is to try and make something from scratch, if that makes any sense to you. So again, I'm going to click on this one. First thing I'm going to do is put the name of the Sharks over here. I'm going to type in San Jose Sharks. Like that. Maybe I'll make the text a little bit nicer. Maybe we'll put some, remember we downloaded some fonts last class, right? We could probably download some cool Sharks font or something like that. But right now, I'm just going to use it. Again, I'm going to highlight the text over here. I'm going to go back to home. And instead of the body text, I'm going to change it to maybe something a little bit more interesting. I don't know. There's probably, how about this Gills Sands? Semi-bold. That looks a little bit more interesting. Maybe we make it italic so it goes there. So italic means that the font is on an angle. Is that correct? You all know what italic means? Okay. Sometimes another version of italic is called oblique. Oblique. Okay. It's a version of kind of italic. See it right here? And you might see that. So I chose a font, and I'm going to leave it kind of small. And maybe we'll make it a little bigger. Maybe we put it teal, like the color of the sharks, right? You want to put it in sharks colors? So we come over here to the A. Remember, see the A right here? This is the color right there. And if I click on the color right there, we'll go down where it says more colors. How about we get on there where it says more colors? And of course, how many colors are in this box? I told you last class. 16 million. That's referred to as 24-bit. We're using 24-bit colors. Okay, so what's the shark's color? This kind of teal, kind of darkish teal. There we will put it there. How about something a little lighter? How about that? There we go. That looks good. So again, color, italic, bold, font size. And what's the 14? What's the measurement for the font? 14 what? 14 what though? Point. Pixels, no. Point in word. A lot of times I'm measuring pixels though. If I'm doing web design or something like that, and I'm measuring fonts on a website, I might use pixels there. Or in actually when we're designing a website, we use a mysterious measurement called the M space. The M space is a measurement for scaling, where a standard 1M is 16 points. And then I can make a 1.2M and it would be a little bit bigger. And it's kind of a way of making text that scales. It's called the M space. Okay, let's put our logo over here on this side. We can get rid of the middle one. Let's put the logo first though. Here we go. So it's still in memory, right? I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to hit delete. Then I'm going to go over here where it says paste and I'm going to say paste. And it puts a giant logo in there, but of course we know we can make that logo smaller, can't we? We click on our logo, it'll put little boxes around the outside, and I can put my cursor in the lower corner, either left, right, whatever, and I can click and drag in the direction, So, oh, don't go too far, it might go all the way around the other side. There we go. So we'll put a logo in there. The biggest problem with putting a graphic in the header is it adds a lot of extra space around it a little bit, so it's kind of big. But that's okay. We're just learning. And then if we don't want this in the middle, what can we do? Highlight it and hit delete. We don't need that. When you're all done with your header, make sure you always close the header before you continue. To do that is under header and footer. If you click on the header and footer up here, don't worry, we're going to learn about all these things in here. Maybe we can reduce I'm going to reduce, before I even close that, do you see header from top? Do you see that? I'm going to reduce it so it's not ½ inch down, so it goes a little, look at that. I can move that up a little bit. Do you see that? Right there, header from top. Move it up a little bit so it's not down so far. That looks pretty good. And then I'm going to close it. Boom. Woo. Everybody got a header? Logo there? Okay, let's say we're writing a letter to somebody, right? Let's say we're going to write a letter. This is going to be a formal letter. So what are some of the things? And let's click down here now. Again, make sure you close the header and footer. Make sure if it says header and footer up here, click on it and then say close. First thing I'm going to do is put the date in there. Now when I put the date in there, I want the date to change according to the day that I'm working on this. Let's say you're writing a paper and you want every time that you make a change to that paper or somebody else makes a change to that paper, then latest date is automatically there. Okay, well, Microsoft Word has that ability. Inside of Excel, it'll be called the today function. Anybody, you guys use Excel in your what am I trying to say? Accounting class. Did she let you? Or Randy makes you do it all by hand, doesn't she? You guys have Randy? Or what's the other accounting teacher? Yeah, I don't know who they are. I used to have an office next to them. I used to know all of them, but I moved over to art and design. Okay. Mostly they like you to do the accounting by hand, so you learn that stuff, I know. But when we get to doing Excel, whew, it'll do accounting, and we'll be writing formulas. Remember, in Excel, the one for the date is called the today function, because that's on the test, on test 2. We'll get to that. Okay, here we go. So under insert, we're going to put the date in there. Notice inside the insert window right there, where you want to put the today function. Where is it? No, maybe it's not in there. I know it's here. I've used it before. Where is today function? Where's the date? Date. Home. Maybe it is under home. Anybody see it? Where do you see that? I can't see it. Is it on the screen? No. Oh, it's under insert. Where's date and time? Will anybody see it? It's under the pull down menu. I know that. I just thought it would be there. It's right here. It's right there under insert date and time. I'm sure. I don't know why it's not in my thing. Maybe because my screen's too small. Let me see if I make my screen bigger. Oh, there we go. I got more stuff now. Woo. My screen is too small. It's right here, this one. See, it looks like a little calendar right here. See it? Click on that. It's going to ask you what format you want. Okay. Which one is the one you're going to use for the MLA paper? We're going to do that next week. We'll write an MLA paper, but I'm trying to point out which one. Which one? This one? This one? This one? This one right here? Yes, it is. Okay. This one right has the day, the month spelled out, and the year. I believe this is the right one. Automatically update. Make sure you check that, because every time it's saved, it'll automatically change. Boom. So tomorrow, if we open this up and save it, it would be February 7th. Okay, let's hit return. So we got our date, and so we're writing a letter to who? Oh, we're writing to, who's the general manager of the Sharks? I can't remember. Doug Wilson. Doug Wilson. Okay, hit return. What's the address? We should put the address. I don't know. Let's just make it up. 1020 Sharks Lane, San Jose, California, 95070. So when you do the state, do you have to put the dot after that, or is it a comma? Is it a dot like that, or a comma? What do you think? You don't have to put it at all. Do I have to put the comma after just San Jose? Yes. Okay, good. So I meant I don't know. Okay. So what do we want to tell Doug Wilson? Bring back what I know. let's write him a letter. Actually, let's just steal some text from the internet so we can practice that. Okay. So let's go to our Wikipedia page, and let's go and let's steal the first comma here. Let's Command C, and let's go back and say, of course, we're not going to hit Command V, are we? Because it'll keep all the links and all the crazy stuff. We want a plain text. We go to the paste here, and we say keep text only. Keep text only, and boom. And let's hit return after that. Return after that. Hit 2 returns for now. And you want to take a little break? Let's take a little break, and when we come back, we will start formatting this. We will start writing a letter saying bring back Pavelski. We'll put a picture of Pavelski in there so Doug Wilson knows exactly who he is, because he probably forgot who he was. So we'll put a picture of Pavelski in there. So let's take 10 minutes, come back, and we'll finish our letter. Okay? Okay, here we go. Before we continue, let's talk a little bit about line spacing. So in this case, we should probably add a little bit of more space to the top of the where the person's name is and the date and things like that. So I'm going to highlight this up here, and we're going to change the line spacing. So sometimes referred to as leading. And the reason why it's called leading is like a letterpress. Basically what a letterpress is, we take each letter and you put it in there, and then you have another line, and they put pieces of lead between. That's where the word leading comes from. In fact, next semester in the fall, we'll have a letterpress over in that building over there. Try it. We'll have a little letterpress over there. And, we'll have matter of fact, we'll have a maker studio. You read the maker's book, right? Maker's book for the class, I hope no. Okay, it talks about makers things and people making things. We're gonna have a whole maker studio in the Silker building next semester. So you'll be able to have laser cutters, 3D sculpture things. We'll have a letterpress. We have a letterpress coming, and so on. So I'm gonna come over and check it out, and maybe I can integrate it. They want me to integrate the makers into the class somehow. I don't know. Okay, so we want to add some leading or line spacing here. So if you select the text up there, you'll notice right here in the middle is one that kind of has lines that go up and down. Do you see the arrows going up and down there? And if you click on there, you'll notice this is the standard line spacing. So which one is the one for the MLA format? Number 2, or if you're using the older version of Word, it might be called double. Because back in the older version of Word, they actually used the word double instead of the number. So 1.5 might be nice. That looks pretty good. If you don't want to use specifically that one, you can go down to the line spacing options right there. Inside the line spacing options is where a lot of stuff will happen. And in fact, this is where most of the options will be for an entire paper. So when we get to the MLA format, we're going to be using this window right here. Okay. I'm going to hit cancel for now. I just wanted to point out there's actually more options there. Okay, next I'm going to highlight this text and let's do a little bit of space in there. How about we add the 1.115? That looks like a little bit better maybe. How about that? And then let's hit return. A couple of returns there. Remember, if you want to see how many paragraphs you're putting in there, and sometimes you're hitting return, and you don't know how many returns you hit, remember this little, it looks like kind of like a music note right there. If you click on that, it'll show you your paragraphs. Remember, we have paragraph breaks, and then we have line breaks as well. How did we make a line break? Shift return for a line break. Let's actually make a line break. Let's actually do it. So let's just write I have some issues like that, and let's put a colon in there. Now I don't want to make a paragraph break. I want to make a line break after that. So I'm going to hit the word. I'm going to hold the shift key down and hit return. Notice we have a arrow. That will be a line break. So what is our issue? You traded, or no, he kind of left.
What's the difference between the line break and return? Just pressing return would have the same effect.
It would, but if you go in format, let's say you format for the MLA format, and when you do the MLA format, in there, paragraph breaks have a half-inch index. So maybe you don't want a half-inch index. You would use the shift return to make a line break, and then it won't indent there.
Index moves backspace.
Okay?
If it indents automatically, it moves backspace.
You can backspace. It's just a formatting issue. It's a one way, because paragraph breaks can have certain format that is only line breaks now. Like the format. Okay, so what is our issue? Bring back. Who are we talking about? I would like you to hire who are we hiring again? Joe Pavel. How do you spell Pavelski? Anybody know? Pavel. S-K-I. I would like you to hire Joe Pavelski back on the team for the rest of the 2020 season. Right now, the team sucks. If you don't hire him now, we will not make the playoffs. Okay. We got some text in there. We have some mean, nasty words in there. We have some squiggly lines going on. I'm going to turn off this paragraph break so we can see it. We have some red ones. We have some blue ones. Okay, let's talk a little bit about spell checker. We'll talk a little bit about the Thesaurus, and so on. Okay. First thing is spell checker. I see a couple red things in there, and those red things mean it's most likely spelled incorrectly. To open up the spell checker inside of Microsoft Word, we can go down to the view. Is it view? Or maybe it's insert. No, I know it's somewhere. Hold on. Design. Reference, maybe. Where's the spell checker? Review. There it is. Spelling and grammar. Under review, spelling and grammar. Let's get to that. If I click on spelling and grammar, it's going to come up with there. So the first thing it says, if you don't hire me, now you will make sense. It sees this word that I misspelled, and it starts giving me suggestions down here, right? So you'll notice it also says ignore once, ignore all, or add. So let's talk about those for a minute. Ignore once means it'll skip over that word, and if it sees that word again misspelled, it'll come up and say, hey, that's misspelled. If you say ignore all, it will, if you misspell that word, or that's actually a correct word maybe throughout the whole document, then you say ignore all, and it'll ignore that even if it's misspelled throughout the whole document. And then, of course, add means that it'll add to the dictionary. So how a spell checker works is it's a built-in digital dictionary that knows that you misspelled a word. And so you can add this word to your dictionary. So if it ever sees this, then it does, hey, that's not misspelled. Which one do you think is on the test? I told you 3 of them. Somebody guess which one do you think is on there? Not all of them. One. Okay, you got ignore once on the test. Ignore all on the test. Add on the test. So which one was ignore all? What does it do? It will ignore that word throughout the entire document. That's the answer. Remember, the test is multiple choice, so I'm kind of giving you a hint on what the answer is. Ignore all. We'll ignore that word throughout the document. Do you think we want to change it though? Yeah, we want to change it. Let's go to him. We really wanted the word him. So if we say change, it'll change it in that spot. If we hit change all, it'll change it throughout the whole document if it sees that word misspelled. Again, autocorrect, I don't know what that does. I guess it's going to put something in there it thinks you want. You ready? So let's hit change. Boom. Now it comes up with Pavelski. Now, of course, that's somebody's name. You could say ignore all. And if you type the word Pavelski again, it won't come up as it won't say, hey, you misspelled that. Or we could add it to our dictionary. If we really wanted to. I guess if we're writing letters to sharks over and over again, because, you might want to write this every day to Doug Wilson so you make sure he hires him again, right? It's almost like if you're in prison, right? You gotta write a letter to the governor every day to try and get out. Every day you write a letter to the governor. I need pardoned. I didn't do it. Send it. Send it every day. Ignore all. Now it comes up with something else. What is this? Right now? Right now? Isn't that a good word? Right now? This is not misspelled. This is bad grammar. Add a comma after introductory element. What do you think? It's not only telling you misspelled word, it's telling you misspelled grammar. What do you think? Should we add a comma there? Sure. We should probably change and add the comma. Okay, boom. What do you think? A little bit better? Let's try the thesaurus. Okay, so I'm right here, and it said, if you don't hire him now, we will not make the playoffs. How about we want a little stronger word than now? Now is not strong enough. Immediately or something like that, but we might not know. I'm going to highlight the word, and I'm going to go up here where it says thesaurus. Do you see thesaurus in the upper left corner? I'm going to click on that, and it's going to come up with this little area over here. Starts giving you these ideas of what you can write. Okay? Which one? Oh, the thesaurus. Okay. How about instantly or promptly? I don't know. Anybody got a better word than now? Straight away. How about that? Straight away? Straight away. If you don't hire him straight away, that might work. So you double click on it, and no, it didn't put it in there. Why didn't it put it in there? Oh, there is a box. Oh, the arrow right here. No, I don't know how to put it in there. How do you put it in there? I thought you double clicked on it. And then, huh? No, that didn't work. Oh.
Oh, there we go. Right click, insert.
Right click and insert?
Insert.
Okay, thank you. Straight away. Right click, insert. There you go. Right click, insert. Uh-oh, now hire is coming up. Hire. Did I spell hire wrong?
Yes.
There's no R.
Oh, there's no R at the end. Hire. Okay. Over here too. Okay. There we go. How about that? Okay, everybody ready to continue? You get the idea of what the thesaurus is and so on. Of course, you have word count. You always have word count down here as well. If you look down here at the very bottom, it says I have 141 words. So remember, if you're writing a paper for your math or your biology class and they say you need 500 words, you see your word count as you're going along. Can you do a letter count? How many letters do you have inside there? There is a way to do that. Letter count. Where is that? Let me think about that for a moment. I know there's a way of doing it. Oh, here it is. Character count, that's it. So I click on the one that says word count here, and it tells you how many pages, how many words, and then character count with no spaces, characters with spaces, paragraphs, and then lines. Everybody got that? Okay, let's insert a picture of Pavelski in there so that Doug Wilson remembers what he looks like. Okay, so let's go to the internet, steal a picture of Pavelski. Oh, I don't know how to spell his name. I'm going to copy that. Look at that. Let's copy that. Command C. Let's go to Google, and let's go here to a new tab. Let's go to Google, and let's type in. Let's go to images over here. See the word images? So again, I went to Google. I'm going to go to images right here, and I'm going to paste his name in there, and let's search. And there we go. Okay, so can I just take any one of these pictures and put it into my letter to send to my to Doug Wilson? Well, probably. I mean, I don't think I'd get sued for something like that. But if I was going to take one of these pictures and put it into a presentation and I was going to show it at the campus center, would that be legal for me? Cited, maybe. Not truly legal. Well, it depends, of course, on the copyright. But, we can steal and do anything we want in this room while we're here. We fall under educational fair use. Even in the online class, I can get away with using copyrighted material because it's behind a firewall. You are students, you're enrolled, you have to log in and password. It's not open to the public. But anywhere that's open to the public, that anybody can walk in and see it, you have to use or get the rights to use stuff because it's in a public space. And if anybody can see it, then. Well, let's look at the different things. Let's go to tools. See the tools right here? Tools. Let's go to tools. And if we go to tools here, you'll see there's different types of tools. One of them, the first one, is size. How big is it? You notice when you roll your mouse over, you'll see some numbers pop up. Now, we said pixels before. Remember, we were looking at, somebody said pixels maybe for the measurement. That's what this is, right? A pixel. What is a pixel? A little dot on your computer screen, right? It's a little dot in the image. This is called a bitmap image. It's made up of tiny dots called pixels. And this is the dimension, how many pixels across and how many pixels high. Right? What's the standard high definition TV? 1080p, 1920 by 1080. 4K would be what? 3,860 by something. 4,000. By 4,000, is it 4,000? That was 3,860 by. I use 4K all the time. I make 4K videos. I just can't remember the dimensions. It's easier to remember 1920 by 1080 for high definition. We'll know that, and you'll have to learn that when we get to displays, monitor displays, because you want to know how many pixels are in the monitor, right? By 4K. So again, you can choose size. Again, they're measured in pixels. And of course, the more pixels, the higher the quality image, but the larger the file size. So you're balancing file size, and what I mean by file size, how many megabytes is that? And next week we'll learn about what a megabyte is. I'm not going to do it today. A megabyte. So let's go size. Let's choose large. That's good. Large is good. Color, I'm not going to worry about that. Right, so here it is. Can I use it? Notice there is some that say labeled for reuse with modification. Means I can use it and change it. Labeled for reuse, which means I can use it, but I can't change it. Modification would be change. Labeled for non-commercial use with modifications means I can't put it in, like I just said, you're not supposed to show it in a public forum or use it on a billboard, right? Labeled for non-commercial use, which means you're not supposed to use it for your billboard. How about we use labeled for reuse and modification? There we go. So we can steal these and use them and Photoshop somebody else's face on there or something like that, right? Notice there's not as many, is there? Why is that? Well, a lot of photographers take pictures and they don't want you to steal their pictures and use them, right? Some people do. So this one says I can use it, right? It's actually on the wiki.org, see it? And same with this one, same with this one. Murray Pavelski. No, we want Joe Pavelski. This one. And then what can we do? Right click on it and do what? Copy image. And we can go back to the paper underneath here. And paste is under insert or home, paste. If it's really big like that, woo, notice that takes up a lot of space. You can click on it and let's shrink it down. Uh-oh. Click on it, let's shrink it down. Okay. Everybody got their picture? Okay, let's add some more data in here. Let's remind Doug Wilson where Joe Pavelski is. You can reach him in Colorado. Oh, he's in Dallas? Dallas. How about that? I thought he went to go. Whatever. Dallas. Stars. Let's put a link to the Dallas Stars so Doug Wilson doesn't have to think about it. He can just click on it and it'll automatically go to the Dallas Stars website, and then he can buy them back. We want to buy them back. So let's highlight the Dallas Stars, and if you go underneath insert, you'll notice it says link right here. Do you see it right there, link? If we click on link, it's going to come up with a link, and you'll see it says link right here, and of course it's asking us for an address. And of course I don't know the address for the Dallas Stars. Maybe we need to go find it. Let's go find it. Let's go to the internet, find it. Let's go to Google. type in Dallas Stars. And NHL.com stars. How about that? There it is. Here is the Dallas Stars page. Is this the official Dallas Stars? I guess is this the official NHL Dallas Stars? Yes. Okay, so we can copy this address. Make sure you get the entire address. And remember, what's the S mean? Secure. There you go. So it's copy. You can right-click on there and say copy. Or you can use the keyboard command, Command C. Right? Command C, or right-click on there and say copy. Let's go back there, and back in Word, we're going to paste that link inside here. Paste. Hit OK. Boom. So all he has to do is click. So Doug Wilson can just click on there and go to Dallas and buy Joe Pavelski back. He'll probably want, what, $20 million a year? Sharks suck so bad, he'll probably want $50 million a year. Okay. Ready to continue? Yes? Okay. Everybody got their link? Okay. Okay, last thing we'll do is we'll put our footer at the bottom so it makes it an official document. Remember, in our footer, we usually put the copyright symbol, and we'll put the shark's name in there, and we'll put the date. So if you remember, for the footer, it's under Insert here. There's a footer right here. Do you see it right there? Click on the footer, and I'm just going to use the first one here, the first one. So again, footer, click on the first one, and it puts some text down there. You put in a copyright symbol with which key on the keyboard? Option G. And then put your name, not your name, or this is a Sharks letter, so we put San Jose Sharks. And then we put our date in there. There we go. And remember, you can adjust, maybe move it down a little bit towards the bottom. Now, you don't want to get too close. Whenever you print something out on a laser printer, there's always a little margin. It's usually a 1/4 inch. It goes all the way around. So you never want anything to go all the way to the very edge, right? Okay, remember, if you've ever print, we don't have a laser printer in this room. I know. I'm sorry. We did. When they first made this room, I said that to them, like, you know, oh, Jeff, here's your new classroom. I'm like, wow, beautiful, looks nice. Where's the printer? Well, nobody asked for a printer. I'm like, you make a computer lab, but you don't put a printer in there because I didn't ask? Didn't make any sense to me. Okay, let's save it. Again, looks pretty good. Make sure you close your header and footer, right? Remember that? Close your header and footer. Boom. Okay, we got that. We got our link. We're going to send this off to Doug Wilson today, February 6th. We got our header up here. Looks kind of nice, doesn't it? Okay. So, of course, we save it as a Word document. So let's go under File, Save As, and let's save it as a Word document. And this is a letter to Doug Wilson. And I can put it in my folder. Notice down here it says Word document DOCX, and let's hit save. Okay, let's try some other formats today. We did a PDF last class, right? Did we not? Hopefully you turned that in as a PDF. I know I was having some issues with the font. Hopefully, I think I checked the wrong box. That was the problem. So if we go under File, Save As, again, let's talk about some more of these formats down here. Okay, so this is the old document format, pre-2004. Here's a Word template. We'll get to how to make a template and how to use a template, because most companies use a template just like we did today, where you make yourself a header, you put your company logo in there and stuff like that. So we'll learn to make a template, and we'll learn to use templates. And we kind of did one today a little bit. It's not quite a template, and we didn't save it as a template. We don't have to right now. RTF is not a bad format. It will keep the font if you use a crazy font and the person doesn't have the crazy font, but you can't edit it. So if you save, RTF stands for Rich Text Document, or Format. I'm sorry, F would be Format. Rich Text Format. Oh, it even says Rich Text Format right there. There you go. It says it even there. So it'll keep pictures and it'll keep the font, but you can't edit it. So just remember, it's not very editing. You can edit it, but it won't if you go to try and edit it, the font that you chose, if they don't have the font, it'll convert to like whatever default.
So like when would you use that?
If you want to send it to somebody who might not have Acrobat or you don't want to use Acrobat,
It's the same as like a PDF-ish.
it's kind of PDF-ish.
But if you don't have Acrobat.
Yeah, and it's kind of universal. In fact, we would use that before PDF was kind of. I've been using RTF for 20 years. You know, it's an old format. You know, a lot of this stuff's been around for 20, 30 years. TXT is a plain text document. No formatting will be there. It would just be plain text. No formatting at all. And let's save a PDF because we like PDFs. And best for printing, I think we chose that last time, right? And it kept the font, right? And so there we go. Okay, so that's all we needed to do today.